What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond Bounces and Boundaries. I'm your host, Santosh Kumar. India played England in Lucknow in the World Cup, and they had a pretty good win today. It was a very good match today. And personally, I felt there were a lot of takeaways from this game. Although India won, there is always something to learn from every single victory that you take as a team, right? So when India lost the toss and India were put on to bat, uh, the initial reaction was it's going to be a very good exposure for Team India. They're coming off a break, and also they've chased every single game throughout this tournament, and it'll be a good exposure for them when they bat first in this tournament and see where they stand. Because the other team, number one team, was South Africa, which batted first throughout the tournament and never chased. And they had a close thriller game against the Pakistan. And in India, they were chasing throughout the tournament. And today was the first game they were put on to bat first. And my overall thoughts about India's innings and the game was that India's batting was exposed by England, right? This is the story of all the World Cups, all the ICC tournaments that we've gone to, right? Just in the semifinals, in the finals, or maybe even in the quarterfinals, it's the top order fails, and then the middle order is put on a test, middle order fails, and boom, it's gone. The game goes out of hand, right? And this tournament, I said it in the earlier videos as well, the team looks very, very, very balanced. And even if you look in the first few games, 5 games as well, it was contributions from Rohit, Shubman, Virat Kohli, and in between KL Rahul as well, and Shreyas Iyer a couple of games. So what happened today was India's batting was exposed in the sense that there were a lot of questionable shots, questionable decisions that were made, especially when you're batting first. And look, batting first is all about taking your time and setting a score. There is no hurry. There's no pressure, to be honest, when you're batting first. And if you're failing to make proper decisions when you're batting first, then there is something that needs to be questioned in the way you approach the game. Shubman Gill, he got it to a good ball, but I felt that he did not take his leg to the ball, which created a bat and pad gap, and he let the ball inside. Virat Kohli, again, I would question that decision because, yes, he's in form, right? But there's no point in going for that shot when you're still on zero. You just need to rotate the strike and get off. He knows better. He knows it better, but still, that was a questionable shot, a questionable decision. I would say. Then let's come to Shreyas Iyer. See, one of the most important things that I look for in a player, or that I look for in a player while judging him, is that the aspect of growth. Is this player improving every single game, every single series, every single week, month, year on year? How's the graph? Is it stagnant, or is it linear, or is it having a hockey stick growth? How is the player's graph? And when you look at Shreyas Iyer, the graph has been linear at times, but over a period of time, it's become stagnant in the sense that it's his batting is has become more and more predictable. And today's innings was a clear sign was a clear sign of immaturity. It was a sign of immaturity because the team has lost quick wickets. You, as a number four batsman, you have a responsibility to take care of the innings. And I think that shot was, uh, it just was poor, very poor decision making, which really upset me because I'm a huge Shreyas Iyer fan. His batting, I've been following his batting for since the time I started playing, right? Since his under 19 days, Ranji Trophy days, he was a swashbuckling batsman. But to see this, I did not expect this from him, and this is not expect out of him as well. He knows it better, but this was very, very, very immature batting, poor decision making, and a lot of questionable things in his batting as well throughout the World Cup. If you see, he has been getting his teams have targeted him with short balls. And the growth is, look, the growth happens when you're able to go out of your comfort zone, when you're okay with being uncomfortable for a while. That's where growth lies. And he has not been able to get over that phase of facing that uncomfortable short balls. Yes, he's coming off an injury, very understandable, but this is World Cup. This is expected out of you. You are playing at number 4 position. It is one of the most precious positions in cricket, and you cannot just throw away your wicket like that. Years and years ago, when I was playing cricket, I was in my 8th or ninth grade. I went up to my captain, Sohail. He was one of the very few players I looked up to while growing up. I asked him, the next day I had a game and I was captaining the side. I asked him, what advice do you have for me? I asked him, what advice do you have for me? How do I make sure that the team is cooperative? How do I make sure that I perform? And do you have any tips for me while I'm batting? And he said this, which I'll get to. He said this, and I didn't quite understand it at that particular stage of my life. But as I grew as a cricketer, as a batsman, as a bowler, and as an all-rounder, I understood what he meant. And this formula really, really helped me to score more runs over a long period of time. The thing what he said was, when you're batting, there will come a phase where you're not able to rotate strike, where you're not when where runs are not coming easy for you, where you need to grind it out, right? Where it's going to be uncomfortable, where you lose momentum exactly. And he said that if you throw away your wicket like that during that phase, you're going to regret that. He said me to go through that phase, rotate singles, and get over it. And when you look at how India's batting was today, it was no one took time to settle. No one took time to understand what the wicket was doing. Even Kohli, to that matter. Rohit Sharma was the only person who stood there. Look, the wicket was doing a lot. The wicket was sticky. It was kind of on a slower side, to be honest. There was a lot of ball movement off the wicket, not on the air, but off the wicket. We saw that with Shubman's delivery, and there was bounce as well. So you're not going to get set. You're not going to settle when you're just playing 15 balls. You're not going to settle when you're playing 10 balls. You need to take your time. And that's what batting first is all about, taking your time, understanding what the wicket is doing, and then going for the kill. But this is what happened. Not a single batsman was able to overcome that initial phase where there was a lot of uh, uncomfortableness, I would say, where there was no momentum, and which is why I would say India's batting was exposed. And this is something which they need to correct going forward, because there is no time here. You have South Africa, you have Netherlands, you have Sri Lanka, just 3 games, and then you're going into the semifinals, right? You will either be facing one of the top 3 teams in the World Cup: Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. And you cannot afford to make mistakes, because all the three bowling lineups of the three teams that I mentioned is amazing. Is They are going to go for the kill. They are right on the money from the word go. So these kind of silly mistakes cannot be uh, encouraged in the later stages of this tournament. And India's performance is always judged in the semifinals and in the finals. So this was kind of India's batting was exposed a little. There are a lot of areas that they need to work on. Look, chasing, India has always been good at chasing, because you have the king on top. King knows how to anchor the innings. But when you're batting first, it's a whole new ball game. You need to set the target. You need to set the tone for the game. And when you need to set the tone for the game, you cannot do silly mistakes. That was the overall gist of India's batting. But I was really impressed with how Rohit Sharma took on the innings. He showed amazing and brilliant maturity. Uh, this was one of Rohit Sharma's underrated yet top 5 innings. top five innings. And if India was able to recover from that 44-3 slump, it is because of Rohit Sharma. It is because of the way he handled himself in the middle. He took his time, slow and steadily. He understood that, look, not every single day, every single wicket, you're going to score runs on the rise. Not every single delivery you're going to score a boundary or able to rotate singles, right? He took his time. He settled. The same goes with Suryakumar Yadav as well. Last match, unfortunately, he got run out. Uh, but this match, he had a really good chance, and he showed. He showed why he is one of the most valued batsmen in the Indian squad. And again, now this will be another dilemma for Team India because Suryakumar Yadav scored 49 today, and Shreyas Iyer did not perform when it mattered the most. Look, you're a youngster, man. You're a youngster, and these are the moments where you have the chance to become the hero for the nation. Just think about it from that point of view. You had the chance to be the hero of a nation when the team needed you the most, and you failed to deliver. You failed to deliver when the team needed you the most. And that's where a lot of teams, a lot of players succumb, is when the team needed the most, when they do not perform, is when their stock goes down. It's not about performing in all these chunnu munnu matches. That's what my coach used to say. You do, just because you perform in these chunnu munnu matches, it doesn't matter to me. I want you to score when it matters. I want you to take wickets when it matters. This is what my coach used to tell me and other teammates when we were growing up. And this has been ingrained in our blood. And Suryakumar Yadav, to his credit, he played amazing. Uh, Hats off to him. But again, that partnership with Rohit Sharma was important. The way they steadied the ship, and I felt that they could, if Surya Kumar stayed, and if the lower order did not get bundled up quickly, we could have targeted 250 and 250 to 270. If Rohit Sharma could have stayed as well, that was a very, very, very good score in this wicket. But this was my instant reaction. This was my thoughts on India's batting. Another thing is that let's come to bowling. Let's come to bowling. Like the old adage goes, right? Offense wins you games, defense wins you championships. It's the similar, it's the exact same thing in cricket as well. Batting wins you games, but bowling wins you championships. I do not have a lot of things to say about India's bowling because India's bowling has been one of the best in the world. India's bowling in this World Cup has really taken me by surprise for the very reason that they have been able to bundle out the opponents. They've been able to take 10 wickets in an innings. And that is something a huge, huge, huge positive. Even if you look at the last game, I felt that India's bowling was a little bit exposed when Rachin Ravindra and Daryl Mitchell were taking on the innings when they were getting settled. But once they got out, around 170 when the wicket fell, boom, India were able to capture immediately. They pounced on that opportunity and they were able to make full use of it. And that is what I really like about this team. India's bowling is that it is, if one person, there is this game winners in bowling. Kuldeep Yadav, Jadeja, Mohammad Shami, Jasprit Bumrah. Siraj has been up and down, but he's done his job. So four out of the five bowlers have been contributing extremely well, and you will definitely get Hardik Pandya in the later stages of this tournament, and that is going to be a huge plus for India. Look, this is what I felt when India's batting. That India really missed Hardik Pandya. India really missed Hardik Pandya in the middle. That crucial experience, that experience matters, and the maturity the maturity matters more than experience. And Hardik Pandya has grown into this very mature all-rounder who knows how to take on the innings, who doesn't play rash shots like he used to earlier, and with the ball as well. He's a wicket taker, and India definitely missed them today in the batting lineup. But again, coming back to bowling, it was amazing how India were able to bounce back and bundle up England. And when we are talking about England, this has been one of the biggest disappointments in this World Cup so far, because I just heard while the commentary was going on, and it kind of made me think, come on guys, this is not as expected out of you who have played at the international level. The commentator said that England have bought the best 15 squad, it's just that they failed to deliver, in a very casual tone. My question is, if the best 15 members of your squad are not able to deliver, what in the world are they doing in the squad? Right? But when I look at England's batting, when I look at England's bowling, it looks so untamely. I don't know if that's a word. They do not look coordinated. They do not look, they are not playing as a team. They are individual. They do not have an identity. The England team does not have an identity. And that is something which they need to really work on, because with baseball they have an identity that they are going to approach the games like in a particular way. If you look at the last World Cup when India lost in the T20, Rohit Sharma said that we are not going to change our approach. We are not going to change our approach. We are going to be aggressive from the word go. And India has maintained that identity. India had an approach that we are going to be aggressive, especially from the top, even if it meant taking risks, right? And they have been sticking to that. But when you come to England, 15 of the players, 15 best players, everyone is, look, uh, you call a player pista if he's a big shot. If he's a big shot player, you call him pista in our local language. And England has all the 15 pista players. England's squad is filled of pista players, all the big shot players. But none of them failed. None of them delivered in this tournament. None of them failed. Everyone failed to deliver. And it's a collective failure, is what I would say. And sure, they did miss Reece Topley, but I don't think bowling was an issue, but batting has definitely been an issue, because they do not have an identity, because there's a lot of reasons for that. But overall, when I look at England's batting, they just felt uncoordinated, undisciplined. Ben Stokes' dismissal today was, I was just thinking to myself, come on, man. You've you're the England test captain. That's not the shot that is expected out of you. You have come out of retirement not to play that shot. You have not come out of retirement to play that shot. You have not come out of retirement to play that shot. This is really not expected out of Ben Stokes. And look, England have been a side which have been a England have been a very, very, very dominant white ball squad. They are the reigning world champions for a reason. And whenever England doesn't play well, whenever England plays well, it's always a treat to watch, because there's always this competition that, oh, yo, we need to face England. And this World Cup felt very different with the way England have approached, because uh, it just feels very different without England being one of the top sides. Even if no one feels it, I felt that, England's collective failure is one of the biggest disappointments in this World Cup, more than anything. And they deserved it. They deserved it. That's all I would say. So overall, it was a good game. India has still a lot of things to work on. Uh, India's performances will not be judged on the regular games. India's performances will always be judged on what happens after the group stages, in the semifinals, in the finals. That is where India's performances will be judged. And these games matter to only certain extent. But the real time, when the real challenge shows up, these players need to turn their best selves in, and perform when it's needed the most.